Welcome to this session on modifying embedded surfaces. So in this video, we're just going to modify some of the embedded surfaces on our office floor 1. And once we've done that, we'll copy and create the office floor 2. So we're going to go back to our embedded surfaces groups of tools, and we're going to start with simply delete opening. So we don't have doors on this floor, so we're just going to delete them. So I'm going to use the delete opening tool. And I can simply come over here into my view and click on an opening. Note that it highlighted in the model, a little hard to see, but there's a pink outline there. And then left click again to delete it. We'll do the other door as well. And I'm actually going to do 2 of the windows. We'll leave this one here and we'll then modify it. So we're now going to modify this window so it matches the length of the opening below. So in order to get that length, I'm actually going to use our measure tool up here. We're going to just measure that distance. So I'm going to select that. I can select a corner here and come all the way and select the other corner. And it should give me the measurement there. We'll go with 8 meters. So I'm going to select this element selection tool. This allows us to select elements in the model and simply select that remaining window opening there. Note when I select it, it actually highlights in the project tree. So this is on office floor 1 in one of our exposed walls, and there's that window. So once I have it highlighted in the tree, I can right click and select properties. So what we'll do now is change the length of that window, length and the height. So we want to pay attention to our reference point. So we're going to use the left bottom, which would be this point here, and then we'll give it a length and a height. So left bottom, my width is going to be the 8 meters that we just measured. And my height, we want to have that same 2.4 meters that we used on the other windows here. So I'm going to put in 2.4. Now we can't define the sill height here, but once we get the window the correct size, then we'll just move it in the model. So those are the changes I'm going to make here, the reference point, the width, and the height. And we're going to select apply and then OK, and you'll see that window change. So we now have the size of the window we want. I'm going to rotate my top view here into a front view. We can see this is our window here, and we want to move it up so it aligns with the other sill heights, or that the top aligns with the top. So for that, we're going to use this tool, Move Opening. Now we're going to uncheck numeric and Z level. The Z level setting would maintain the window's Z level. This would be important if you were moving them in a horizontal direction, but since we actually want to move it up in the Z, we will want to turn that off. We could predefine a distance or a delta, but we're going to actually just align it with our other windows. So we're going to select the window we want to move. And then this is where you might want to check your prompts down here in the lower left of the interface. So you can see it says enter point from. So we need the point we're moving from. So for instance, I could use the bottom of my window there. Now notice how my AccuDraw compass is rotating at different angles. What we want to do is get that compass rotated into, say, a front orientation so that we can move our window directly up. So there are a few shortcut key-ins for AccuDraw that will rotate that compass. So T will rotate it to a top orientation. I'm just going to go through these. You can see here when I type in T how that rotates to a top. If I type in S, it rotates to a side orientation. And if I type in F, it rotates to front. And that's actually the one we want. That allows us to move basically on that plane, on that front plane. And I want to make sure, just like when we were tracing those stairs, I want to make sure I'm locked on that axis. So I'm going to hit my Enter key so that I can only move this up. Once I've done that, I can snap to anything. So I could, for instance, come over here and I snap to the bottom of one of the other windows, and now I know I'm perfectly aligned. So we just go ahead and select that data point, and then a right click will reset and take us out of the command. And we've moved that window to where it aligns with the other windows. Let's now close that tool. I'm going to go ahead and fit my views again. We'll rotate back to a top view here. And remember, we've got doors on the back side too. So we would want to rotate our view around and do the same on the back side. So we're going to go through this one more time. We're going to delete the openings. Now notice if I get a prompt like that, that would indicate to me I've already got something selected. So I want to be careful because maybe I've left that window selected on the other side. So I'm going to select no here. And if I look over my tree, I can see I do have that window still selected. If it's selected in the tree, then it's selected in the model. But if I simply collapse that surface, that will actually deselect that window. So that now when I select delete opening, I won't get that prompt because nothing is selected, and it's now just looking for me to select the surfaces that need to be deleted. So I'm going to select the doors and the windows that I don't need. And then again, use the selection tool to select the one remaining window. Gets highlighted in our tree. I'm going to select the properties. Now this time I'm going to do it slightly different. The last time we used the center bottom as the reference point, but that meant we then needed to move that window up to align with the other sills. It actually already has its top aligned. So if I chose left top as my reference point, and then again use the 8 meters as the width and the height at 2.4, I can avoid that second move. So we're going to select apply and then OK. And now we've got the window already aligned in the correct dimensions. Now rotate back to the isometric view and fit my views. And now I've got my office floor with the 2 office spaces and the correct window surfaces. And I can use this floor to create the next floor, the second office floor. So we're going to simply use, again, our copy floor. Make sure we're on the floors group. We're going to select copy. Now we have 2 floors, so we have to select which floor to use. We're going to use office floor 1. We're going to call it office floor 2. And our delta is again going to be 4.5, and we'll simply select copy. Now this office floor will be identical to that floor below, so we don't even need to make any modifications. And now we have that second office floor 2. We do again want to change that drawing when we add a new floor. So again, I'm just going to select that and say replace drawing. And again, we'll just browse and select the office floor plan 02 and select OK. So we now have a 3-story little office model, energy model, that we could begin to do steady state calculations on. We're going to go to the added step of adding a sloped roof to this model, but it might be that you want to save this one as a version so that you could maybe compare the two with the sloped roof and without the sloped roof. And so we're going to look at some of the saving options real quick here. Let's go ahead and close that. If I go up to my File tab here, select that, it brings me to the Backstage. And you can see there's several different options here. The file is automatically being saved as you're working. So there's no need to come in and save as you go. That happens automatically. And for instance, if I were to select File New, that would actually save my current file and then let me create a new file to start. If I select File Close, it will simply save the file I'm in and then close the file. But it would leave the application open so that I could then select a different file to open. If I select File Save As, it's going to basically make a copy of the file that I'm currently in its current state. And of course, an exit will completely exit the application, but we'll have the saved version of our file. So we're going to select the File Save As, and we're just going to create a second model, and we're going to just call it ES Office Building, and we'll put -V2 for version 2. And I'll select Save. So we now have a second version of our 3-story office building, and in the next exercise, we will add the sloped roof.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.